Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know that sometimes it's really overwhelming to try to do research, and that you go to Google and you type something in and all this information comes up, but your teacher tells you you can't use it because it's not a credible source, or it's not a believable source or a trustworthy source, because anybody can publish anything on the internet. So I've tried to make it a little easier on you to find resources online. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with Google, and you're going to go ahead and type in my name. You have to spell it right. And the first thing that comes up is this Ashley Krause School Rack. That's the website I showed you in class. So you can go ahead and click on that. And once you do that, you can see that it says 5th grade down at the bottom. If you click on that, then you can go down to where it says research help, and you can see that I've gathered a few links for you to help you with your research for your social studies project. So the first one we're going to look at is the Groyler Online Encyclopedia. So go ahead and click on that. And what you're going to see is that there's a search bar up at the top. So let's say I'm looking for something called the Stamp Act. Now, if I just search Stamp Act, it's going to come up with things that have to do with the Stamp Act, but it also might come up with things that just have to do with stamps. For example, stamp collecting or stamp postage. So if I want to find articles that just deal with the Stamp Act, I need to go ahead and put it in quotation marks, because what that tells the computer is that you can only search or find things that have the word stamp and act directly beside each other. So if I do that, the only articles that come up deal with the Stamp Act or with people that were involved with the Stamp Act. Evidently, George Grenville was. But anyway, what I can do is I can click on the title and I can look at the article and see if this article would help with my research for my project. So if I read this and it seems like a pretty good article, what I can do is I can click on this little link right here where it says how to cite this article. This is very important because you're going to have to be able to tell Miss Jackson and me where your research comes from. So if you click on this, it's going to show you the author's name right here. The author's name right here. It's going to show you the title of the article. It's also going to show you the year that the article was published. This is all very important to keep track of. Okay? So let's find another resource that you could look at. So if you go back to my website, you can also look at the Encyclopedia Britannica. So I'm going to click on that. And let's say that I wanted to learn about the Boston Tea Party. Now again, if I type in Boston and tea and party, it's probably going to come up with some things about the Boston Tea Party, but it's also going to come up with some random things about Boston and about tea. It might even come up with some more recent political things. So if I put it in quotation marks, Boston Tea Party, that tells the program that I only want things that say Boston Tea Party right together. So if I hit search, it's going to come up with different articles or different information that are somehow connected to the Boston Tea Party. So you can see all of these have something to do with the historical Boston Tea Party. So let's say I want to click on this one and read it. So if I click on this, I can read the information and decide whether it's going to be helpful to me, to my research. There are also some pictures over here that I can look at that have something to do with the Tea Party. Now, the other thing that's important is that this site will show you how to cite your research as well, how to figure out the author and the year and all of that. So if you look over here, there's this little check mark. It says cite. You can click on that and it'll come up with the information. So you can see right here that it has a title. It also gives you the year. Again, if you decide that this is an article you want to use for your research, it's very, very important to make sure that you figure out how to cite it. We're going to talk about that more in the library later when you come next time. So those are two different sources that you can use that will give you credible or trustworthy information for your project. Miss Jackson and I both expect you to use these. If you have questions on how to use them, you can always ask. There's one more option. Unfortunately, the internet on it's not working very well today, but Explorer Online is very similar. You can search in the search bar and come up with different articles. Also, I've gathered some books for you to look at in the library, and we'll talk about how you can find information in those as well. Happy hunting, and let me know if you need any help. Thanks.